ULTI.TV.
Good morning and welcome back to the Brisbane-Canberra Invitational. We're coming to you live from the nation's capital. My name is Max Stenstrom and I'm joined in the booth by Shirin Ringland for the matchup between the hometown heroes, Fyshwick United, and the Northerners, Mammoth Ultimate Frisbee Club. Shirin, give us a little rundown of these two teams.
So we've got some different teams here. We've got Mammoth last year, successful at Nationals, number 2. Came away with it. Came away with a win in their previous game as well this morning. And then we got Fyshwick, different team from Canberra, locals. Didn't quite pull off the win this morning, so should be a good game.
It certainly should be. Mammoth coming off a great win this morning in their first match, a Universe Point win over Colony Mutiny, 14-13. Fyshwick going down to the other Colony Uprising, despite taking half. So they've both had flashes of brilliance so far. We'll see what happens when they come up against each other.
Fyshwick pulling, they're starting on D. There's a bit of wind come up since our first game, apparent in the pool there.
It's coming mostly towards the camera and a little bit right to left. So this will be Elliot Cook to bring up the disc to get things moving for Mammoth. He's joined on the line by some other under-24 representatives who've played in the green and gold. As Thomas Vo comes underneath for the first undercut. Hits to Hollander. Previous AFTA Male Player of the Year. To Permack. To Vo on the near side. And finally, Grimman gets a touch. Expect to see big things from Liam Grimman this game.
It's a good pickup. Big one, floating over the top.
Interesting to see Grimman playing offense. Generally thought of as an excellent defender, but he's broadening his skill set this season with Mammoth.
Fyshwick trying to hold them off at the line. They're doing well so far. That wind's definitely picking up, making things a bit more difficult.
Forcing Mammoth to throw a lot of passes.
Oh, another.
It's a good grab from Zev Permack as Mammoth opened their account 1-0, but they really had to work for that one.
They did. Fyshwick did well to hold them off right on that end zone line for quite a while.
And against a team as good as Mammoth, just making them throw a lot of passes and have to dump and swing a lot is a victory for the Fyshwick D-line this early in the game. And there are a couple of half chances there that they'll look to capitalise on and build upon.
Get to see the Fyshwick O-line come out. Show us what they've got.
A big noticeable absent for Fyshwick this weekend is Andrew Jackson. He injured his ankle playing March Madness and will be sitting this tournament on the bench.
Which I imagine is frustrating for him and big loss for the team. Hopefully they can hold it together. Got some good strong handlers and cutters and receivers, so let's see what they've got.
He has been traditionally their primary shot taker, so we'll see if others step up to fill that role. Speaking of shot takers, as we get a look at John McNaughton, ready to take the pull for Mammoth. The lefty cannon has been a source of trouble for a lot of teams, both domestically and internationally.
He's gone out again.
2 from 2 for Bricks so far, both teams having to adjust to a different wind. And also perhaps the fact that this field is at a 90-degree offset to both of the fields that they played on this morning, which means the wind, of course, a little bit different as well. Matthew Hudson will bring the disc up. Fyshwick operating out of a horizontal stack. They find Shell out on the far side. Gets the under to Francis. Again, right on that far sideline.
Matthews Hunter for the score. It was a nice safe work up the high side of the field.
And Ben Matthews Hunter, commonly known as Rambo, toasts Joel Cook up line. It's not fancy, but just beats him to the pocket.
That's all you need.
And Fyshwick, it's early days, of course, but reflecting on those first 2 points, Fyshwick having a much easier time.
They did. Made it look nice and easy.
Their horizontal set collapsed and gave them plenty of space on that high side of the field, as you say, and they were able to hit unders all the way along.
See if anything interesting comes out on D with this wind. We haven't seen any big shots come out yet. I have no doubt that's just a matter of time, though. Everyone getting used to the wind. What's it doing to the throws? Where are they going to go? This pulls in. Resetting to Pomack. He's around to Grimmond. Where's he looking? Stretch pass. Trying to get it back across that side of the field.
Mammoth doing a great job of keeping the disc moving as Grimmond does well to hold on to that one.
These catches over this side of the field are getting very difficult. There's a lot of push throws to get them out there. And that's a score. Again, Mammoth not making that look quite as easy as Fyshwick did last point, but they got there.
Had to throw a fair few passes, but they were able to keep the tempo high throughout. No one was caught holding the disc, looking downfield for 6 or 7 seconds. It was a great example of kind of next man up philosophy, which is kind of what we associate with this Mammoth team, the faceless army, willing to just churn with their legs. Next player up, next player up, next player up. We'll just hit the next cut, we'll just hit the next cut. And they're rewarded for that patience. As the break throw to De Hollander allows the easy flip for the goal. So it's 2-1 to Mammoth.
Definitely seeing all the points being scored down one end. See if either of the teams can force that break and score down the other end.
Just as we're speaking, the sun comes out. It's a pretty overcast, cloudy day, but there are moments of sunlight for them to enjoy. May well be out the back, and I think it is.
A few too many Weet-Bix this morning. Fyshwick are setting up in their horror again. Worked well for them last time. See if it does the same again.
An interesting addition to on the field is Ben Emerson. Hasn't been seen in the orange and black of Fyshwick for a couple of years. Took some time off, but he's back. And he's immediately heading deep.
Oh, comes through for the... Making it difficult on the reset. Is this going to be the break? Mammoth just keeping it moving. That's a big break. So they're going to...
And that's a goal. Oh, no, it's not. He's just outside.
Just out.
A couple of inches to go. Shellard on the mark. And there's the easy flip.
English taking the goal there.
And while we'd said Fyshwick had looked so comfortable, a simple mistake by Sam Shellard not attacking the disc allows Seb Brown to get the run through D on him. And Mammoth punish Fyshwick.
It was a rough pick up there, but he managed to get his hands under it. There's good patience on the end zone, just waiting for someone to be open. The wind definitely disappeared at that point. Didn't see it affecting the players much.
It's a bit blustery and inconsistent, but it's not particularly strong. I'm sure they'll all be able to throw through it. It'll just be a case of adjusting and being aware.
Both teams are just working through the unders. Haven't seen any big shots come up yet.
And we'll see if they are able to adjust their defense, put a little bit more pressure on those underneath spaces. Fyshwick in particular has been able to gain big meters coming back underneath. Mammoth has generally had to throw a few more passes, but they've still been efficient regardless.
Out the back again.
I think we've gone 4 from 4 for bricks.
We had one in. One landed in.
3 from 4. Ben Matthews Hunters again. Side stack on this near side. Looks like it'll be Francis who gets the lane to work in.
He's going deep. Big break to Shellard. Learnt his lesson from last point. Attack the disc.
Francis loves that lefty backhand. Now Foreman. He finds Matthews Hunter up the line, and the little flip to Hudson. And Fyshwick get another.
Some nice breaks there.
They've clearly got an emphasis on keeping the disc on the high side in this wind. Certainly helping them.
Serving them very well.
So we get another look. Bill Foreman's pass to Matthews Hunter that set up the goal. Foreman, a veteran despite his young age. Played in a couple of Australian campaigns at the under-20 and then under-24 level, and he's a participant in another one coming up as a member of the Goannas, the under-24 men's team. Just come off a very successful trip to New Zealand where they won New Zealand Nationals.
It's very good.
I don't know how happy the Kiwis were about some Aussies coming over and stealing their silverware, but I was stoked about it as well. Fyshwick are down a break. So they have work to do here. And it'll be work that their D-line needs to get done.
This one in. Nice patience. Eventually got. Oh, that's a big hammer coming up. Hodson didn't get under it. Brown managed to read that. It's resetting. Looking for the reset. United forces the turnover.
And Hodson looks to push the pace as he runs the disc up.
Big layup by Grimman, didn't quite get to it. Fyshwick definitely pushing to keep it up on that high side. Great intercept by Gaunt there.
Oh, big from McManus. And Svardos has a look as well.
Mammoth are looking a little bit flustered right now.
And Fyshwick certainly applying the pressure on those underneath spaces.
As Mammoth manages to get it back over to the high side. Oh, unfortunate drop. Gaunt wasn't quite ready for it. Good call.
And again, Fyshwick looking to move the disc quickly after the turn, not waiting to set up, hoping to capitalise on the chaos of the turnover.
This is back in. And the big shot comes out. It's not quite in.
And Kyle Mitchell finds Cal Sandbridge with a hell of a freestyle celebration.
That's Fyshwick drawing it back up to evens.
As they respond with a break of their own. You can see the results of their constant pressure. They haven't been rewarded with a block, but that pressure leads to throwaways from Mammoth as they become flustered and feel the need to push passes that maybe aren't quite on.
Two big pushes from Fyshwick on trying to get those Ds, and that just, you could see the Mammoth boys getting concerned by that.
And then Svardos, beautifully weighted throw over Rubda Hollander and into the arms of Kyle Mitchell. So we're back to 3 apiece. We're on serve again. Each team broken once. Oscar Francis with the pulling duties now. The D-line continuing their momentum for Fyshwick.
See if this D is as successful as their last point. And they can force that turnover. Or is Mammoth's smooth offense going to sail them through?
Let's go United! Let's go United!
Oscar Francis pulls left-handed despite being a righty.
Oh.
And you can see how that turned out. Not even half field. But Mammoth clearly feeling the pressure. This point as they've brought across John McNaughton to this offensive line. As Permack finds Grimman for a 2-pass offense.
Making that look very easy.
taking full advantage of the slightly weaker pool. Less field space to have to work across.
Fyshwick must be happy that Colony wore them out in the last game.
It's always hard to come off a Universe Point game.
Whether you win or lose.
Correct, because it just takes so much physical energy, but also kind of that emotional and mental focus. You really get amped up, you really 100% buy in for those last couple of points. And then to have to back that up immediately and start again at 0-0 is a real challenge.
Fyshwick seem to be capitalising on that and making it difficult for Mammoth.
So a bit more of the Fyshwick offensive line. A bit more of their horror. Seems to be their preferred structure as Mambo Weir gets what I think is his first touch of the game. He's a really exciting, dynamic player to watch. And I believe he's had a health cloud over him this weekend. He sat the first one, but he shoots a beautiful throw here.
Oh, thought he might have to lay up for that one, but he managed to just run onto it. Lots of patience with the handlers there. Happy just to keep resetting, keep it moving, and wait for that option to present itself.
Present itself it did in the form of Sam Shellard, one of the fastest men out there. And we are in power position off the little up line movement. Shellard times his cut to perfection, and the throw is weighted.
Just sat there nicely for him.
And we're at fours. Another quick one from Fyshwick. I don't know the stats, but I'd love to measure a team's offense, or in a game, measure both teams' offensive lines and how long they're out there each point. And I feel like the teams that can score quicker, generally speaking, over the course of a game, come out on top. Just because it means they spend less time out there running, get more time playing defense, putting pressure on the other team. It just builds up over the course of a match.
It does. Both teams here, though, showing they can do it quickly. It's going to make for a good game, hopefully, and see if we're going to have some more quick offense points, or if the defense is going to be able to clamp down and hold them off for a bit longer.
Fyshwick defense so far has been pretty vanilla, but that's not to say not effective. They've just been playing one-way force match, but they've had a couple of good looks at some unders. They seem to be sitting on the back hip, maybe a little afraid of some of Mammoth's big throwers, which is fair enough, containing that firepower.
Oh, big shot comes off.
Speaking of, Elliot Cook looks to Liam Grimmond. Cal Sandbridge is in the region and he leaves his feet. But Liam Grimmond, safe pair of hands on him.
Yet again, nice quick point. Both teams showing us that they can work it up the field, but they can also put those big shots up. It was just a matter of time until they came out, and coming out they are.
And Mammoth respond in kind, showing they have the long game just as much as Fyshwick does. 2 ex-Goanna teammates connecting well, Elliot Cook and Liam Grimmond. Grimmond showing his versatility. We've seen him handle, and here he heads to the end zone to great success. Sandbridge, nice effort. He's never afraid to throw his body around. And Mammoth now lead 5-4. And Fyshwick will play a bit more offense.
Another big pull. Let's see if Fyshwick have work it through the middle. Foreman looking for a nice break. Another break down to, straight down the side to Shellard. Again, beautiful offense. Not afraid to work it through the middle and attack that break side.
No, that's lovely offense from Fyshwick, and it's all set up by that pass from Bill Foreman. A really lovely inside break to Oscar Francis, and from that point on, Mammoth were playing catch-up. Fyshwick had loads of space to work it down, and they work it down, they did. And we are connects with Shellard again for their second goal.
Just trading points right now. Both teams showing they can get it done quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, it's been pretty clinical. One break apiece, and other than those points, I'm not sure if we've had any turnovers. Excellent quality ultimate at this stage in the season.
Bodes well for both teams leading into nationals.
It certainly does. Mammoth obviously coming off a silver medal last year. I'm sure they want to go one better. And I'm sure they feel without the powerhouse of the WUC Colony team in their way that they've got a good look at it. But I think Fyshwick might just well be the dark horse. Of course, we're probably both biased on that, Shrin, being
probably
locals.
A little bit, but they're showing us right now that they can mix it with the big boys.
They certainly can, though their pulling game has left a little bit to be desired.
It has. They haven't quite learnt their lessons yet. A couple of pulls they've landed in from there, but
if they can tighten up their pulling game, I feel like their downfield defensive pressure has been excellent so far. And downfield, Sandbridge is marked up again on Liam Grimmond. See whether he gets another opportunity to have a sniff.
got a big horror set up here. High release flick, always nice to see. Dave getting close again.
Got some absolutely brilliant matchups to watch. Both players going hard as Dave McManus does battle with Elliot Cook. As Vogue inserts him in to the flow, and Grimmond to this near side.
Oh, there's a big round flick. The Hollander holds
the big
onto
target.
it.
It's hard to miss a man that large. But again, Mammoth having to work hard, having to dump and swing a lot. And Fyshwick's defense, especially Callum Sandbridge, just doing a mountain of work out there, putting heaps of pressure on.
McManus is also putting a lot of pressure on that handler reset, not making it easy for them, making them have to throw it back further.
Credit to them both. And with that, there's a timeout. Mammoth 6-5 up, but it's just trading. Both teams taking one break early. And I love these games because it feels like the first team that blinks is going to be the one that doesn't end up where they want to be at the end of this match. Got to hold their nerve.
It's going to be interesting to see if the Mammoth D can step up like the Fyshwick seem to. Hasn't been as much pressure on Fyshwick. They've been getting the passes off easier, much quicker. And we've seen some other people in Fyshwick putting it up as well. We were questioning whether someone was going to step up and fill the Jackson shoes. look for those long shots, and there's definitely been a few people doing that.
Mambo Weir taking a couple of nice kind of mid to longer range throws. Not full field hucks, but just kind of that in-between space. It's really lovely, well-weighted shots out in front. I think from Fyshwick's perspective, they're right where they want to be.
Right in the mix. 1 point down. They're on offense again.
Jackson's not in the playing strip because he won't be taking the field, but he's got on a coaching shirt, and I'm sure he's been providing a few little nuggets of wisdom and knowledge to the team in that huddle.
No doubt.
I'm sure it's just a case of more of the same. Their defense has really been frustrating Mammoth, putting a lot of pressure on them. And Fyshwick's offense, as you say, smooth as silk this whole time. The only turnover coming from a simple mistake that has been rectified early on. And Mammoth's defense not really been successful in getting a lot of traction against Fyshwick. We may see a tactical adjustment though here coming out of this timeout.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the teams have adjusted any of their strategies on defense or offense, or if they're just going to keep rolling with what's been working on offense. Wind's still around, still possibly causing some issues. It's a nice pull.
And Francis will field it. Looks like Fyshwick's pretty flexible with where they call players in different positions. Francis spent a bit of time handling, a bit of time cutting. Likewise with Emerson. Matthews Hunter, one of the full-time handlers. He goes for shell out in the end zone.
Again, nice easy throw. The handler's not afraid to just keep resetting, keeping it moving, wait for that opportunity to present itself. Mammoth gave him a few extra throws they had to get in there, but Fyshwick didn't seem particularly fazed by it.
And Sam Shellard, that's his third for the match. Mammoth hasn't really got a good answer for him yet. Combination of explosive athleticism, pace, and beautiful timing makes him a prime target for throwers like Matthews Hunter, as we see here.
That was a good shot to Matthews Hunter's down the line. Set him up perfectly for that shot.
This gives the Fyshwick D-line another opportunity to get back on the grind, as I know they love to think of it as.
Going to see some more clinical Mammoth offense, or are Fyshwick going to continue to clamp down on that and make it difficult for them?
Well, neither team seems to be changing or tweaking their lines at this point. 6-all is a classic moment to try and get a break in anticipation of half and to stack a line or two, but it's business as usual for both teams. Horror from Mammoth and match from Fyshwick, as we've seen for most of the game. Brown finds Vo underneath, marked by Daly, and he'll shoot long. Mitchell and Grimond shoulder to shoulder, mano a mano, and Liam Grimond leaves his feet.
Manages to keep it in for the goal though.
And to be perfectly fair, that was a real trust throw. When that throw went up, Mitchell had position and Grimond did a great job of making up the distance and getting his body in front. And then makes a great grab to finish things off.
Wasn't sure that was going to stay in, but he managed to just keep it in.
Daly perhaps giving Vo just a little too much space. Unleashes beautifully weighted backhand, and Grimond does well.
We're seeing very similar offense. The handler's not afraid to just work it around, wait for that opportunity and hit that end zone. when that opportunity presents itself.
Something that has changed early on, we were remarking on how well they were keeping the disc on the high side. The last few aggressive shots have been down this near side, and the wind is coming towards the camera and a little bit right to left.
Risky shot to take the long shot from, but it's working for them both, so we'll see if that continues.
It is risky. That wind is going to push the disc out the sideline if they shoot down this line. But so far, the throwers up to the challenge have really controlled their shots well, served them up for their receivers. So Mammoth now 7-6, looking at half time. Fyshwick, the imperative is on them to get a hold here.
Wind just pushing the pull out again.
For what is a relatively light breeze, these pullers have genuinely been struggling to consistently get the disc in the field, both teams.
Must be a bit of a wind higher up from the field. Matthews Hunter starting with the disc, looking for the long shot straight off the bat to Emerson.
And he'll hit him in stride.
Keeps it in, keeps it from half. One more point. This comes down to it. 7-all leading into half. Who's going to take it?
That was a lovely adjustment from Fyshwick. We'd seen a lot of horizontal. Maybe they'd started to feel like Mammoth had got a sense for what they were doing out of that structure. They switch it up, they play the side stack.
One shot scores.
When you've got an athlete like Emerson downfield and a thrower like Matthews Hunter, it's hard to deny.
It's close to the back, but he kept it in.
Emerson showing, despite some time away from the game, he hasn't lost a step.
We're going to see the Fyshwick D step up and really give Mammoth a push, or are Mammoth going to be clinical again and work it up and score?
Well, now's the time to do it defensively. So as we are now at 7 apiece, it is absolutely Galaxy Point, as we like to refer to it. Neither team seems to be changing lines. No stars being brought across. Faith in the teams, faith in the structures is what we're seeing displayed by both teams' leaderships. As Zev Permak looks at his options coming out of the horizontal stack. Hodson right on Vo's back as he takes that catch to Hollander, and lots of space in the centre. And he's able to find space to shoot deep to Thomas Vo. But it's Jez Barron who's on the receiving end of that one. Not his man, but he managed to get himself involved. And Fyshwick
are presented with the opportunity.
They are indeed. It's only the second turn that Mammoth has given up all game. Svardos finds the inside flick to Mitchell as the stall count rises.
Oh, Vo through.
Miscommunication, they give it back. Mammoth offense gets a second chance. Dave McManus pressuring every moment from Elliot Cook.
Giving him the easy open throw though to whoever he wanted.
Grimman now, just a few metres out, and he finds Rob de Hollander, a Mammoth hold to take half. But you get the sense the Fyshwick D-line's pressure is building and starting to pay off.
It is. They definitely put the pressure on there and managed to reel in that point. They had the opportunity. They were working it over to that high sideline, but just that communication error. They gave it back to Mammoth, who capitalised and took half.
They did indeed, and nothing feels worse as a thrower than to have that kind of miscue where as soon as it leaves your fingers, you can see the cutter turning and going back the other way. And you know that it's a turn. But that's exactly what happened from Kyle Mitchell as he looked for Jez Barron. and Fyshwick gave up that opportunity. But they will start the second half on offense. So as the players take a break, so will we, but you shouldn't, because we've got the second half of what's looking like a real great game. Don't go anywhere. Let's bring you live ultimate coverage from the Brisbane Canberra Invitational. Welcome back to the Brisbane Canberra Invitational. It is game 2 of day 1. And geez, isn't it a game? Fyshwick United against Mammoth Ultimate Club. Neck and neck, 8-7 at half to Mammoth. Looking forward to the second half. My name is Max Tedstrom. I'm joined in the booth by Shirin Ringland. And Shirin, Fyshwick are going to start this second half on offense, and if they hold, it'll be 8 apiece. It's going to be a great game to watch.
It has been a great game to watch so far. Some very clinical Frisbee being played here by both sides, and it's exciting to watch. No turnovers, which is good for both teams. Good for the game. And it'll be interesting to see post half-time if that can keep up.
Yeah, and only 3 turns so far, and it's been in conditions that are increasingly worse. The wind is picking up, so we'll see whether they can maintain that standard of play, that champagne ultimate that we've seen so far.
I think it'll be also interesting to see if the Mammoth D steps up. We've seen the Fyshwick D stepping up throughout the game. Time will tell. Pull ends in. Again, a mix up with the handlers Fyshwick have. Keeping it over on that high side. Foreman's got it again. Finds Francis. Oh, run through D by McNaughton.
And they're on the doorstep, and they'll find their way to a break as they find Alex Leask towering up line. And Mammoth out of half-time, looking strong, adding a bit more pressure on defense, and Fyshwick coughing it up cheaply.
That was unfortunate for Fyshwick. McNaughton just hiding himself away and being able to just run through and grab that D as they tried to reset. It was a good pickup right on the end zone line. Some patience and managed to keep it alive and score.
McNaughton just reading that play, saw the dump coming a while away and stepped in and took the disc nicely. So it's now 9-7 to Mammoth.
See what Fyshwick answer with after that. That's what we wanted. We wanted to see the Mammoth D step up. They stepped up, they got a turn, they forced it.
They did, and we'll see where the Fyshwick can respond. It's a game of punch and counter punch. And Mammoth land one there, and we'll see what Fyshwick can say in response to that. Keep the same 7 out there by the look of it. Hudson stepping off, making way for Weir.
Fyshwick on offense, are they going to be able to hold and score down this end? Haven't seen many scores down on our right.
They will have to go upwind.
Another big pull right at the back of the end zone.
Francis, that high release lefty, he loves that throw. Very difficult to stop. Gets the under. Donaldson.
When to look, wasn't on.
Donaldson's been plagued by injuries both this season and last. Hamstrings just really uncooperative. But it's good to see him back out there and throws a lovely little inside break back across the field.
Just waiting for this call to resolve. Weir's keeping it. Matthews Hunter's there for the scraps. Fyshwick doing it well to keep it over on that high side again this point.
Donaldson again. Francis working in front, goes up line.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Miscommunication between them.
And they'll have to play some defense. Alex Leask with the disc. On this near side, Weir will work hard. Matthews Hunter contains the swing.
Mammoth also working hard to get over that side. That was a lucky.
Ben Emerson comes through from behind, gets the block on Marcus. Matthews Hunter picks back up. Fyshwick offense. Get another chance. Find Donaldson. Francis provides the opportunity up line.
Another pick call.
Things getting a little bit cramped on this near side.
Seeing a very different game after half-time. We had one fairly clinical point, but these last couple of points have been a very different game. We've seen the turns. We've seen both teams stepping it up on defense.
Mammoth especially found another gear defensively. And another level of pressure for Fyshwick offense to deal with.
Shell out again. Good patience by Fyshwick, keeping it alive. Working hard against that increased pressure from Mammoth. Couple of turns that point.
Couple of turns. 2 from the Fyshwick goal line. As many as they conceded in the whole first half. But it's Sam Shellard, their trusty receiver and target, who ends up with the goal.
It's only 1 point down again. Are we going to be able to see the Fyshwick boys come out and break it, or is the Mammoth going to have to work it down to this right end of the field again as a big gust of wind comes across?
Well, as the wind picks up, that'll favour Fyshwick's defence for this point. Mammoth are going to be heading back upwind. Fyshwick, of course, if they can get this break, it'll be 9 apiece. Got a pretty standard defensive look out there in terms of the players on the field. Matt Daly marshalling the troops, calling the matchups. He's one of the younger players that stepped up into a leadership role this season with Fyshwick.
Seems to be the way in Canberra, letting those young guys come out and get some experience. Can't gain experience without another big pool.
It's the temptation of having Div 2 in your city. It means a lot of those older hands opting to stay locally rather than head north to Townsville this year. Thomas Vo finds Grimmond, fakes the big flick.
He's looking for the reset up the line. Big swing across.
Permack a couple of metres out. Grimmond almost going every other. Gibson on Cook.
Good D by Fyshwick, holding them off outside the end zone. Making it difficult for the reset.
Mammoth having to lose a lot of ground. Fyshwick's defense breathing down the necks of Mammoth, but Mammoth holding their composure.
Just keeping it resetting, keeping it moving. Oh, big defense from Daly.
And Fyshwick is rewarded. They move things quickly. That seems to be their default decision. It's Kyle Mitchell with the disc on this near side. Not a lot of action downfield as tired legs means the cuts dry up.
Inside. Svartov just couldn't hold on to that. Mammoth get another chance. It's a timeout called. That was a good hold off by Fyshwick, keeping Mammoth out of the field and forcing them way back from the end zone. Got rewarded with a turn and just couldn't quite capitalise that on offence.
Really thundering defensive pressure from Fyshwick. But we saw what happened once the turn did come. There was nothing there offensively for Fyshwick. The legs clearly burning after that big defensive effort.
And unfortunately pushing themselves over this far sideline, making it much more difficult for themselves, which is the easy thing to do when you're tired, is take the easy options and open side. Let's hope this quick rest will bring the Fyshwick legs back out and they can hold them off on defence again.
Credit to Mammoth's offence, though.
Definitely.
Incredible composure under pressure and the willingness to concede ground to maintain possession. Really exceptional.
They can keep that going. Then just have to wait for that opportunity to present itself on offence for the score to come.
Players retake their positions. Zev Permak with the disc. He's been hard to contain. Very quick. Loving that movement following the throw. And then a vertical stack downfield. I imagine Grimond might be the first one to move, but we'll see. It's Gaunt. And Brown goes break side. He's marked by Hodson. Now Gaunt comes across the front. Instead they opt for Elliot Cook. He's having to work hard. And now Gaunt, they're about 8 metres out. Not a lot opening up in front, having to go back. Gibson bites a little too hard and maybe gives up the break throw. But Mitchell steps in front.
Oh. It's a good attack by Hodson. Bo's almost there.
Gibson provides the pressure release valve. Daly now on this downwind sideline. He'll shoot. And that's the difficulty of throwing down this sideline. We've talked about it. With the wind coming towards the camera and right to left, those throws are going to tend to leave the field and not come back in.
Unfortunately, that's what we saw happen that time.
Maybe a case of tired legs wanting the point to be over, hoping to get it done in one. This point beginning to feel pivotal in terms of determining the momentum for the rest of the match.
It is. Whoever's going to get this is going to feel validated. Feel a change in the power. Managed to get a big across the field. Oh, some contact.
Grimond to Vo, to Permak. He's got players heading deep. Mitchell comes under to play defense. And there's a travel call that maybe saves Fyshwick there. Hodson on Vo.
They're looking for that break.
To Hollander. Bobbles, but holds on. Fatigue starting to play a factor, as is this rising level of wind.
Mammoth managed to get it over to that far sideline. To Hammond again.
Oh, and there's a man wide open in the end zone. And Thomas Vo will take the goal. And hands on knees across the field. Players exhausted after that effort.
That was a long point. Definitely a change from what we've seen all game. Mammoth just able to get it over to that far sideline and opened everything up. Tired Fyshwick legs, just not able to keep on top of it. Wide open in the end zone. Lots of breakthroughs through there. Lots of patience by Mammoth.
But crucially for them, they get the upwind hold. And now means that Fyshwick have the same task. To play offense, 70 metres upwind, and the wind is increasing. So that task will become ever more difficult.
Got some fresh legs out on offense though. Let's see if they can use those fresh legs to power through.
Matthews Hunter, Weir, Donaldson, Hudson and Emerson and Francis. 6 out of the 7 players on this line have played handler for them at some point this game. Clearly plenty of throwing ability. Crucial going upwind now.
Big pull.
as
Bit
we
of a
are.
tussle on the field.
Finds Francis.
Just hoping to keep that disc moving, keep it alive, and a big one comes out. Oh, Francis is downfield. Reads that well. He's got Matthews Hunter. Manages to keep it up. And they score.
That's just an incredible throw.
That
in
was
this
an
kind of
incredible throw.
We saw Mammoth have to throw about 80 or 90 passes to get at that kind of distance because they didn't feel confident throwing that throw in this wind, especially the flick. And we see Mambo Wea
That was
just line one
throw.
up, yeah, and throw a flick
Francis
that
was able to
just sits
read
on
it
its
well.
edge the whole way, and Francis has an easy time to take it. And then the simple flip.
Made not so simple, but Matthews Hunter managed to keep it alive.
He did. And again, Mammoth will have to go upwind, and this gives a chance for the Fyshwick D-line to continue to build that massive pressure we saw last defensive point from them.
Seeing a lot of those D plays out again. Unfortunately, the offense got it done quickly. They're having to come and back it out fairly quickly again.
It's a relatively small roster for Fyshwick this season. Only 15 or 16 players. A little bit depleted. I know they had a few dropouts in the early parts of the season, and some notable ones at that, particularly Tom McCallum, who was a big part of their Nationals campaign last year. He's taken a year off to pursue other interests.
There are other interests apart from Frisbee?
It's hard to believe, Shane. For a lot of players, well, for a lot of people watching this and for a lot of people on the screen,
It's hard to believe.
it is a hard thing to imagine, prioritising other things in our lives other than ultimate Frisbee.
That pull just manages to sneak right out onto the back cone. That's going to be some difficult placement for Mammoth to have to take it from. See if the Fyshwick D can capitalise on that pull.
In coffin corner for Brown, marked by the big wingspan of Nick Hodson.
Gets it across to the break. Just all down the break side. Over to that high side, exactly where you want to be. There comes that big flick. Is Mitchell going to be able to read it? He does.
Credit to Mammoth, they do a great job of moving the disc to the high side. That shot gets caught in the wind. Huge bid from Liam Grimond, chest height. Gets a massive block on Nick Hodson out of nowhere.
Here they go again, looking for that high side. DeVoe. Again, breaks. To Hammond for the score. To Hollander, sorry.
Such cool, calm offense after what is such an octane-filled play from Liam Grimond.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get another look at that in a moment. He just explodes. He was a good foot behind Nick Hodson when that disc came out of the hand. You see, they share a high five as well. But really, the story at that point for Mammoth was the ability to continuously hit break shots, both inside and around, as exhibited by their last two throws.
That's something the Fyshwick defense are going to have to work on, because it's been proving to do them well for Mammoth. It's gotten them the last two scores upwind. Slightly more efficiently done this time.
Get a look at that block.
Yes.
He's chest height or above the whole way through. Nothing Nick Hodson can do about that. I mentioned earlier on that Grimond is a real defensive powerhouse, and you see what I'm talking about there. Just able to conjure up a turnover out of nothing. Pulls a rabbit out of a hat.
Mammoth are up by 2, 11-9. We've seen a lot of upwind points being scored.
More of that clinical offense, that champagne ultimate that we saw in the first half. Fyshwick working out of a side stack. Weir doesn't like what he sees, has to dump it.
So he looks down that side. Oh, Foreman not able to keep it in.
Alex Leask.
Quick movement to get it going. Oh, that was an unfortunate drop.
Max Murray just puts that one on the turf. No pressure at all. Weir has Foreman going deep, doesn't want the shot. Instead goes underneath to Donaldson. And he'll go deep for Shellard. Who else? Sam Shellard racks up his stat sheet a little further. 5 goals for him this match. He's having a blinder, just unguardable in the end zone.
That long shot coming off eventually for them. I think we've seen most of the last few points all upwind. No one willing to concede that upwind point.
Fyshwick D-line get the next opportunity. As both teams continue to show great composure and just a really high level of play across the board. In their first game today, Fyshwick took half against Colony Uprising and then went down pretty hard in the second half. So far, we haven't seen them replicate that dip in intensity or focus or execution. They've clearly remedied that. Mammoth, on the other hand, just played a universe point match. Clearly know how to take it the whole way, and they'll continue to do so.
We're going to see another lefty pull from Francis, or is he going to maybe stick to the traditional?
Certainly holding the disc in his left hand. Maybe coming downwind, he'll have a little more success than he did earlier. Will wind up for the lefty, and it will come out a lot nicer than the one did earlier, and it will land deep in the end zone to be picked up by Brown.
Pressure by Fyshwick right on the end zone line.
Mammoth sneak out that inside forehand though, as they've continuously done. Brown on this near side, he shoots flat and fast to Elliot Cook. He's about 5 out. Not a lot of support coming. Instead it goes crossfield and finds Sam Gaunt.
Another clinical point. Upwind, another upwind. Teams are making it look much easier than that first upwind score.
Maybe a case of just getting used to it, and once they did adjust to the conditions, able to settle into a groove, identify the shots that they had and could take, and identify those that were not on. That shot from Brown though.
It's a lovely shot.
Lovely throw, flat and fast.
And then looking for that fat side for the score. Been trading points for a while. Unfortunately, Fyshwick are down, but still seeing some good offense from both teams again.
I was chatting to Andrew Jackson before this match about how Fyshwick had gone in their first game, and he said, when we're playing well, Fyshwick is the best offensive team in the country.
Big call.
It is a huge call. I mean, of course, he's massively biased being a player on the Fyshwick team.
Offense player as well, just
offensive player as well, that's right. And when he said when we're playing well, he probably meant when he was on the field, considering he was injured this match. But, I mean, I think in the display that we've seen today, both of these teams showing a really high level of offense in what is increasingly pretty tricky conditions.
We had a little blip just after half time. That was a big catch of the pool by Emerson. Not an easy one, but he held on to it. Weir's looking under. to Donaldson. Didn't take that big shot again.
Matthews
Big
Hunter does
down the
well
line.
to get open.
Crossfield, Emerson. Open up that side, get over. It's got Oya.
Matthews Hunter, as we saw there, gets the big swing across,
Oh, big.
and he'll throw the goal here.
No.
And I was just about to say nice things about him as well.
Ah, and then he does things like that. That was an unfortunate. That was some great movement by Fyshwick.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the best offense in the country. Everything up to that point was lovely. That throwaway, not quite.
Big shot comes out.
Matthew Hudson. That soars over everyone. And Fyshwick will get another opportunity.
Long way to work it up again, but we've seen them do it.
Foreman and Shellard, the big targets on this line if they opt to go deep. Both of them big boys. Shellard incredibly quick. Foreman very powerful in the air, and he heads straight to the end zone. He's marked by 2, leaving Hudson wide open underneath. And he doesn't get it. As Emerson goes up line, finds Foreman now. He has Donaldson going long, thinks about it.
Doesn't come off. Call.
We've got a foul call as Emerson goes chest to chest with Marcus. Both solid boys. Emerson, I know, comes from a rugby background, so he'll feel right at home and won't be put off. They'll chat about it, sort out who owned the space, and play will resume.
Good pressure from Mammoth here, making it difficult to reset. Oh,
And the swing pass just bounces off the hand of Matthews Hunter. Hudson's going to have to hustle to get there. Joel Cook's in the end zone. But the throw doesn't come. Great scrambled defense from Fyshwick. Mammoth will have to play patient, and they will. We know they're willing to do that. As Jinx with the disc uses his frame and length.
Again, not afraid to give up that ground. Another pick call.
We were joking about Fyshwick's offense being the best in the country, but that willingness to give up ground to maintain possession is an element of Mammoth play that really is champagne. Shoots the end zone, 2 players in the vicinity, but it's Joel Cook that catches it just an inch from the end zone line. He'll have to go backwards. Alex Leask, got a pick call.
Another pick. The Champagne ultimate on offense is getting a little messy.
Players feeling a little frantic.
Leask.
Recognise we're getting late in the game.
Keeping it moving.
About 5 out. Brown finds Joel Cook. Open on the open side. And that's a break for Mammoth.
And get that downwind point.
At this crucial moment in the game. Late in the second half. Takes them within 2.
Someone was eventually going to get that downwinder, and unfortunately for Fyshwick, it was Mammoth. There's a bit of mess happening, but everyone managed to work through it. Mammoth managed to calm down, continued with their resets and waiting for the options.
Really impressive resilience from them in terms of the arc of this match. In this first half, Fyshwick just mounted pressure upon Mammoth, and they've just absorbed it up, soaked it, and returned it twofold. And you can see they're rewarded now with the break late in the second half.
We must be minutes away from the end. See if Fyshwick can mount a comeback and manage to make up these last couple of points. They've definitely shown they can.
Pretty unchanged offensive line for Fyshwick.
Got a few people out there willing to take those big shots. Shellard again, who's willing to open it up for them.
He's been important for them, especially when so many of those players probably feel a little more comfortable in the underspace. Having a couple of players that love to go deep just stretches the field and gives your team a whole lot more room to play with.
Big pull down to the back of the end zone. Fyshwick having to work hard to get it out of there.
Foreman shoots. He's got Brown. He's got Francis. He may even have Hodson underneath.
No.
And it was Mammoth that came down with it. Mariang to Cook. Comes near side.
Oh, couldn't keep his hands on it.
Gladish puts it on the floor. Shellard picks up, looks to go quickly. He'll dump to Weir. Shoots to Saxon Brown, who's wide open in the end zone. That's a goal. But it was messy.
I think that was time cap that just went.
Indeed, during that point it went, which means we'll now add one to the highest score. We're playing a game to 14, ladies and gentlemen. First to 14. Fyshwick need to get a few in a row. So it is a game to 14 as the captains talk about it and confirm. Mammoth have 3 game points to spare. Fyshwick, no room for error.
They've got to go out there and grind it in. We've seen that they can get that upwind offense score. Got to get a turn first. Defense have shown they can do that. Mammoth have also shown that they can be clinical.
Fyshwick's defense this half hasn't quite reached the heights of intensity and pressure that we saw in the first half, and they will need to get back there if they want to generate these turns now. Svardos now pulling this one. They've been sharing those pulling duties around. Hermack in the centre. Grimond heads to the end zone. Not a lot of coverage on him. A nice switch. Takes that threat away, but provides De Hollander space to work underneath. Grimond ends up in the handler space, as he so often does, despite starting downfield.
Some people can't help themselves. Oh,
Kyle Mitchell giving a lot of physical attention to Liam Grimond.
Oh,
Dave McManus,
right
equal on Elliott.
Oh.
Cook, and he'll shoot for Rob De Hollander.
Over the top of him.
But even a target that big can be missed sometimes.
Pressure paid off for Fyshwick. They just forced that a bit too much.
And that's that shot down the low side in this wind. It's always so tempting and it feels so easy, but it's really quite difficult.
Some people have made that shot look very easy.
The waiting of that throw. A challenge. Dave McManus will bring it back up. We've got Callum Sandbridge in space, marked by the big Rob De Hollander. And he shoots long. He's got Matthew Svardos underneath it.
To Daly. Keeping it alive. Right on the end zone line.
A lot of players in that front pocket. Not a lot of space. And Cal Sandbridge.
He pulls it off. Fyshwick keep this game alive. They're within 1.
And now they're heading back downwind. Fyshwick starting to get a sense, starting to believe, getting a sniff of the victory. To be a fairy tale story for them. Do Mammoth have both the physical and emotional and mental effort and energy required to go 2 games universe point
Can Fyshwick get them there? I think if Fyshwick get them there, then it's going to make it difficult for Mammoth. 2 in a row, that's hard to back up.
Yeah, you almost feel like Mammoth either wins here or Fyshwick will take this one. Normal looking D-line from Fyshwick. They haven't brought across any offensive firepower. A bold choice this late in the game. It also shows a lot of faith in your systems.
It does. Got to have faith. They're the ones who know how to work together.
I would have loved to have seen Sam Shell out on the field, the goal scoring machine.
He wants to just get the winning goal next point.
He's also a hell of a defender.
Let's go, Fyshwick! Stop the track!
Another big lefty pull. It's going to stay in.
And we get that Dave McManus-Elliot Cook matchup again. It's been so tight. McManus, there's been a number of times where he's had a big old sniff on a pass. He hasn't managed to get a hand on one yet, but you feel like it's just a matter of time. De Hollander underneath. He launches. Hodson and Daly in the vicinity. Neither can get it. And Voda Brown. And that's the game. Mammoth finished that one on top, 14-12.
I thought Hodson and Daly were in there. Neither of them quite able to get a hand on it, and Mammoth capitalised and got the goal.
And I think a lot to take away for both teams there. You've got to be pretty happy with such a low turnover game from both offense lines. The Mammoth O-line especially just absorbed a stack of pressure and played through it. They'll be very happy with that result. Fyshwick as well, coming off a first game where they really dipped in the second half. Didn't see that dip nearly as severely this game. A lot to learn, a lot to take away.
Great game to watch on both sides.
In the end, Mammoth the victors. Fyshwick still chasing their first win for the weekend. As the players wrap up and head off to lunch, so will we. But stick around this afternoon. We've got a couple of great games to come. Thank you very much for joining us as we've been bringing you live Ultimate from the Brisbane Canberra Invitational, presented by Fyshwick and Factory Ultimate Clubs and produced by ULTI.TV. I've been Max Stenstrom. I've been joined by Sharon Ringland. We'll see you next time.
ULTI.TV.